Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. I did some researching this morning on Tonga, and well, actually, just right up until now, I'm still trying to find out when became independent of Britain. They were at one time under rule from Spain. I found out that it's thought by archaeologists or historians that the Polynesian people um, migrated to Tonga some 5,000 years ago. But what I was looking for this morning was when the rods of God was dropped on Tonga. I found one article by a man named Lance something or another. Now I can't remember if it was his first name or last name, but it took so much searching to even find a little bit of information. What I did find out, like the third largest island of that nation was bombed in 19, well, not bombed, had rods of God were used on it by China in 1945 during World War II. I could not find, like I say, when they became independent of Britain. And I did find information that a rod of God was indeed dropped on Tonga when a so called volcano erupted at the same time. Now, I heard from a pretty good source, namely Doug, because he does know things that I can't prove he knows, but National Geographic had said that the satellite view of the implosion of the island wasn't accurate from like it would have had the white plume wasn't indicative of a bomb being dropped, but other articles said that it was hit from underneath. It imploded. I saw the footage. There's videos on YouTube too of that explosion, the volcano exploding. And yes, it did indeed have a white top that would be like I say, indicative of a bomb being dropped on it. Doug told me it was hit by the air and the sea at the same time. Now, here's some curious things that I found. The island, I do believe, the volcano erupted on the 17th. I found pictures. Now, I don't know if it's because of our time difference, but I found pictures of devastation on the 16th. Um, there wasn't any actual coverage by National Geographic until January 22nd of 2020, just this year, 2022, excuse me. So really in searching, um, and even that article that I said that was written by that Lance something or another, there was only 4 comments on it, and that was it. I don't know where else I was going with that, but I mean, I was trying to see when they became independent from Britain and when that volcano actually erupted and when the test was done on Tonga. And what I came up with, I pretty much just let you know right there was the limit of what I could come up with. Aside from there's 100,000 Polynesians living on those islands. They are predominantly Christian. the only church on Tonga is the Church of Jesus Christ, which I found a little disturbing that a Christian nation would be bombed. I found out that the king of Tonga died after 41 years of reigning there, and I could not find a date on that. What I did find was live stream with people that are voting in that country now for a president. So they went from having a king to a president where they actually vote on that now. That's happening right now as we speak. So that's pretty much my follow up on that, unless I can. And I'm listening to a video now, excuse me, a documentary on it. I'm a little disenchanted with the information that I was unable to come up with. It's like Doug said too, if you don't get it right away, they're going to try and cover it up. And indeed, fact checkers did try to cover it up. Here's a for instance what fact checkers do. I had put a post that the proof of the company that Biden has hold stock in China, that our oil reserves were given to by our president, his father. Fact checkers came on my post and said that it was inaccurate information because all this, something because of all the states involved. Um, how did they word that? Well, anyway, like talking about the states, and it's like I wasn't talking about individual states. I was talking about Biden, you know. So they put some smarmy bullshit on my post and then just left it out there like false information for everybody to see, and it's not. So I shared a video of Laura Ingraham off of Fox 9 talking about the same things, and they're too big to really silence. So I put the same information out that I was talking about that she was saying too, to get more attention drawn to the situation that we are being ripped off and our country is being put in jeopardy by people that have dealings with a communist country. Sanctions are going to be lifted on China, meaning that we can export and import goods from them legally at this point. And tell me, why the F are we trading with people that want to come in and take over our country and dictate to us how we can live our lives and what religion we can be and whether or not we even have control over our own body parts? Because if you're familiar with what they do to what they call the Uyghurs in their country, those will be the people like us that have God in their hearts and don't want to hail the state and the politicians, but are one true God. That's what's in jeopardy, is having your life expire because of uh red takeover, you know. So here's something very interesting that's going on in the United States right now. The train engineers are thinking about going on strike. Well, if they get paid off, they'll do just that. And then they're the trains with all the goods that go within the country, just like the truckers, is going to limit the food on the shelves even further. These monsters are in full swing. They sure are. So Excuse me a minute. Cheers. I hope your weekend is going wonderful. So that's a tiny bit. Well, not more than a tiny bit. That's quite disturbing, you know. Do any of you have any knowledge of Tonga? And sorry for chopping off my head. I've just got my old work clothes on. I thought I'll make a quick video because it is really just roasting hot here. And I was up working and then doing some of that investigating. And I thought, well, and we may have poor weather coming in. So I thought I'll just shoot a video and get it out to you and ask you if you have any knowledge of the Tongan people and perhaps maybe when they became liberated from Britain. Maybe that's the words. I didn't use that word. I used independent. Maybe liberated would be a better choice. Actually, I probably am done on that subject, but I wanted to make people aware of the rods from God, is what they call them, or the other names that they have for them. But yeah, because I don't think enough people actually know about it. We don't need nuclear bombs. These things have been tested, and they took out an entire island. I mean, it disappeared. There were naval ships that had went out to look for survivors after that tungsten rods were dropped on that island, and the island and all the people were gone. I couldn't find a whole lot of information on all that, but there wasn't any disclaimers as far as that it wasn't a fact. So, and it's not like our country hasn't already dropped two bombs. There's people that don't believe that's true. Um, I don't know. I was raised by somebody that wasn't maybe as perfect as a lot of people would want, and especially me because I am got emancipated. I divorced the Masons, but the dude that raised me wasn't a liar, and he was in on a ship when Hiroshima was bombed. He was there. So, and the government kept testing him all his life, and everybody in our household were exposed to the radiation from him. So, I don't know how true everything is. And in 1976, there was a man that went over into Northern Europe and swam in pools of what was supposedly radioactive waste, and absolutely nothing happened to the man. He was a scientist and a researcher. Again, I'm not gonna strain on the names and all that stuff. Something you can look up if you're interested. Um, which can be true or not true. I am not sure. I really don't. But I do believe that they do have these weapons capabilities. And if they are and can be sent up on satellites, what really is floating around in our skies? Now, I did find something that was interesting, that just a post out on the internet, not YouTube or Facebook, but it said that there are 34 more designated Tuscan rods that are to be dropped in different places around. 34 is a curious number too. That's Doug's favorite number, but that are going to be dropped around the planet. it didn't have a list of what these places were or the times or when that, was going to happen or anything like that. But I thought that was pretty interesting. There might be more back in there from all this reading I did this morning. It's like little bits here and there, of what's going on. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's another thing. Biblically, in the Bible, Aaron, out of the Bible, which I don't quote me. I think Aaron was a son of Abraham, but he had a staff, and that was to in the Bible, uh, a staff. It said what I was reading signifies authority. So, um, and that too is curious because Doug had made this little tiny staff and a note for Robin's Hood. A few years back, and he said just show it to him; he'll know what it means. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Um, but it was pointy. It was more like a spear. Who would take their time to whittle out a tiny little staff out of wood? I have it around here somewhere. I stuck it in a plant I have. I use it as a indicator which way my leaves have to turn towards the sun. So I'll put either like a marble or a rock or whatever on like the west side or east side of a plant, usually on the west, so the leaves can go towards the sun. So in case anything gets disrupted, I know exactly where that plant was. So yeah, I stuck it in a planter, but it was just weird. I thought it was pretty strange, but I know spiritually they know each other. Doug knows it, I know it, and Robin knows it too. When you know somebody, like your spirits know each other. Yeah, we all know that. So, and there's some of you that know what I mean too, because you kind of can hear in the ether, you know. So it's not a joke; it's all real. So yeah. So why am I laughing? Yeah, it's one of them days. But I don't know. There's so much goofy stuff going on. It's maybe not hard to keep up with, but well, we live in exciting times, don't we? Yeah. Oh man, crazy. I never did find out why they had a roadblock on our dirt road coming in both ends. We're just plastered with cops. They let Doug through that one night. He grabbed I think it was his AK. Well, he's got a couple of them. We have AR-15s and all kinds of handguns, and one actually turns into a. It is a 9 millimeter that turns into a 44 caliber, and I have a 22 that's like a Tommy gun. It's got 100 rounds in it. Um, could put hollow points in there. I don't know. I could go on and on. All kinds of weaponry. Not my greatest thing in the world that I love or anything like that. And then we have shotguns and different things. We literally traded a Mustang convertible for um, things that might have been more sellable. You know, is all. That's really the only reason. Otherwise, we just keep the one gun for hunting, which would be the AK, because it's an excellent brush gun. And people would say, well, why do you need that? Because, dummy, if you drop it in the water, they still work. Um, they have no kickback whatsoever. And they're the best rifle that you can buy that's made on the planet. That's why. And yeah, they can become fully automatic with just a change here and there, a little tweak or so. But these people, they act like, oh, well, like somebody can't just walk up and stick a pencil in your neck and go on to the next person and do about 8 times when you're out in public and you just created a mass murder. You don't need a weapon to do anything. Just like I could take a propane tank, put it down at the end of my driveway, even hook a few together and make one shot and blow the whole road out, you know, or something like that. Or hook it up to a battery and just flip a switch, you know. So they act like, oh, these people with their AKs and it's like a long time ago when they were sold, the real ones like we have were sold in this country. That was way before all these freaks were out there with their AR-15s. And oh yeah, we have one that breaks down too. It's really cool. But like I say, I don't really like guns, but I am a good shot. Very good. Um, Better than any guy I know, as a matter of fact. It's usually when I go to do something, I do it well. So, but anyway, I have so many other ideas of destruction as far as that's concerned because my mind works on that mechanical level as far as inventing things and my imagination and my knowledge of different compounds and components um, that create alchemy, you know? It's like, so what I'm trying to say is these people that are against guns, it is not the gun owners that have registered weapons that we have to worry about in this world. Actually, right now in our lives, the biggest threat to our communities right now, as we speak, is the fentanyl coming in to our country. And there are stamps on them like they look like any kind of um, prescription drug laced with heroin or crack or whatever they have that is going to kill our youth. That's our greatest danger right now, aside from the people that are um, voluntarily having people shoot stuff up in their veins. That's just entirely crazy to me. And I'm a person that literally almost died when I got a swine flu shot. We were told to do that in 1976 if we were working around livestock. They almost flipping killed me. Within 2 weeks' time, I had lost 30 pounds. I could not afford to lose, and I almost lost my life. And I still suffer from the ramifications from it. I have different hives in my body and different allergies that I had never had before. That so and some of you know, but I have my records that I copied with my printer a long time ago. But the CDC said I have what they call an unknown fluke in my blood. And then they went and tried to hide my information from the world. Since then, I have changed my name, and I'm not so sure that they're current on my information, but I surely printed out what they did with me. They took chunks out of my skin and sewed me back together to take samples of my flesh. These people are monsters. I went to the Center of Disease Control for tests and all kinds of stuff. So when I say that you probably shouldn't trust these people, I am telling you firsthand that they screwed me over and hung me out to dry. So, yeah. But there, at this point, nothing I can do about it. And when it first happened to me, I was actually literally too sick to even help myself. And then I had to go back to work when I got well. Took a couple weeks and I was still sick. I mean, I was literally would put a tractor in gear and run after the buck wagon pulling bales off till it got to the other side of the valley, and then I jump back on there and turn it back around and do the same thing. I was feeding about 400 head in that valley, but then had calves and some sheep and different ones in the barn that I took care of for the person I was working for. Um, but yeah, that about killed me. They literally almost took my life. And Doug's cousin did die right after he got the magic potion, literally. And he was tall and strong and healthy and a Christian. Isn't that curious? I wonder how many actual non affiliated, I'll call them, if you're not a part of the organization. I wonder how many people actually got a different color cap that they have. Makes you wonder. So, yeah, Doug and his cousin couldn't have been more different in a lot of ways. His name was David, was a street preacher. He had a job, he'd work during, and then he'd go out on his spare times trying to turn people's hearts over to God. And that was like his whole life. He literally went crazy when he found his mother in bed with the Lutheran minister in their little town, Buffalo Lake, Minnesota. And David walked in on him and lost his little mind. Not enough where he couldn't work or preach the word of God, though. And he was quite a gentleman. I really loved him. Doug kind of looked down on him and used to sort of make fun of him, but I put an end to that crap. So, yeah, I liked him. So, yeah, they murdered him. And they tried to murder me. And my son, but that's something that's a whole nother story. I sort of outsmarted him. I outwitted him on a few things concerning my kids. Um, so far so good. Maybe, but yeah, it's pretty hard to stand strong on your feet when the people that are supposed to, like your own father, their father betrayed them. Not just me, but he betrayed his own sons in the worst ways. When people do that to their own kids, it's like when you try and destroy your own kid, that's something I'll never, never, never understand. You know. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to do a follow up on that and let you know about um, say your prayers that these engineers in with these trains. I think they're gonna be bought out. They do make a lot of money. Oh, I was stupid. Just really quick, I'll tell you this is the truth. My ex was working at this place called the Cherry Bar, bartending, and we both had done that in the past, like in between places wherever we go. But there was this gentleman we met that was an engineer that offered to pay for our schooling, for our training to become engineers because they were short on them back in them days. but we didn't want to be separated, so we didn't take him up on the offer. And I sometimes wonder, maybe he saw something in my ex that I didn't see at the time, and he was actually trying to save me, and I really think that's true. So that's a weird story, isn't it? Well, I'll leave it there. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.